He's doing the job, but he never really inspires that confidence. And Terry, you're a big Hasek fan in terms of not knowing what the heck Hasek's
You don't know what he's doing.
I don't know you're going to throw Hasek. He stops the puck. He bounces, he gets up, he moves around, he flops, but he stops the puck, and he's still doing it. I'm going to tell you one thing. Terry Murray obviously told his guys he's going after this win early. I mean, they've just been coming at Buffalo in waves in the overtime.
All right, and we'll get you back to overtime. The Spectrum in Philadelphia right now as we look at both teams with minor penalties right now as a result of what just transpired there. So overtime continues, and we're happy to bring it to you thanks to our friends at Fox.
We have the Flyers ahead in shots and in pressure.
So as you might expect, it is LaFontaine and McGillney coming out of this 4-on-4 situation. Keep in mind the Flyers already have a goal this afternoon. That was the goal by Holler, and LaFontaine and McGillney were out there for the Sabres.
It's interesting. Earlier, the 4-on-4 situation, Rob DeMaio and Brind'Amour were on the ice, the more defensive forwards for the Flyers. But now Terry Murray's going power against power with Renberg and Leclerc.
Here is Leclerc looking to go wide on Bodger. Bodger takes him to the boards. Now the puck recovered. LaFontaine tried to quickly go ahead for McGillney, and it hit the linesman. Now the Sabres, Bodger across the line. LaFontaine goes for the net. The puck deflects off the stick of Dykhouse, and it's well up into the seats and out of play.
Well, a statistic that's quite unusual. You would think Philadelphia Flyers all-time home overtime record is under 500. 16 victories, 17 losses, and 47 ties. Of course, that is all-time during the regular season. Philadelphia Flyers have a pretty interesting stat to their record book. They're the first expansion hockey team ever to beat an original 6 team in a playoff series, and that was in 1974 when the Philadelphia Flyers beat the Boston Bruins, then went on to win the Stanley Cup.
Minute 31 left in the coincidental minors. 15-20 left in the first overtime. LaFontaine for the Sabres set to take this draw against Ron Brind'Amour. Face-on control by Brind'Amour, back to Desjardins. He'll return the pass for Brind'Amour over his stick. Bodger able to hold it in. And LaFontaine could not contain. Backs up to center right. Backhands it now to Bodger. Bodger moves it across the center. Have that bounce off his stick. The Flyers regain possession deep in their own zone. This is Kevin Holler, who had the 4-on-4 goal late in the second period. He rushes it to center right. Drives it deep into the Buffalo zone. Hasek out of the net, but quickly playing around the board. It'll be picked up by LaFontaine. Drops it back for McGillney. McGillney the give and go with LaFontaine. He'll chase it down in the corner. Desjardins got there first. There's Desjardins, number 37. Backhands it for DeMaio. He and Brind'Amour now. 45 seconds left in this 4-on-4. Here is Brind'Amour, puts down the brakes at the hash mark. Now Desjardins moving in. Good job by the rookie, Holzinger, to stay with him. And Ashley able to clear. Here is McGillney. McGillney has Holzinger coming for the net, but put himself offside, didn't make the play, and the whistle blows. Fox's coverage of the Stanley Cup playoff continues next Sunday, beginning live at 3 p.m. Eastern. The Detroit Red Wings, who won their first playoff game this afternoon against Dallas, will meet the Stars in Game 4, while the New York Rangers will face off with the Quebec Nordiques in Game 5 at the Colisée. Check local listings for one of these games or other regional action right here on Fox Sports.
Well, the Philadelphia Flyers, as we have said, have had the advantage in shots in the overtime. Flyers 3 shots. The Sabres have yet to have a shot.
Face off right in front of the Buffalo bench. 25 seconds left in this 4-on-4. Sabres look like they want to make another change. Here is Arnett into the zone with Holzinger. Arnett pulls the trigger, missed it wide, bouncing puck, scooped up by Hextall, and he'll hang on. Tonight, the Fox primetime lineup begins at 7 p.m. with the world's funniest outtakes, followed by The Simpsons, The Critic, Married with Children, and another episode of Married with Children at 9:30 Eastern Time. All tonight right here on Fox.
As we watch a young Philadelphia Flyer fan. We're not sure if he's uncertain about the outcome of the game or maybe he's getting a little tired.
Well, the face-off here, all important, deep in the Flyer zone to the left of Hextall. It'll be Sweeney. For Buffalo, it'll be Brind'Amour for the Flyers, and it goes to the boards. The Flyers carrying will pick it up there. We've played 6 minutes of this first overtime. We're still tied at 3. Carrion snaps it ahead. Brind'Amour backhands it into the Sabres zone. McTavish racing after it. Roger got a piece of him. McTavish able to fight through. McTavish now getting some help. Most of the penalized players out of their respective boxes. And the Sabres able to get it to center ice. Jitnik was out there looking to break free. Now the other way, the pass for Audette. Well out in front of him. Yushkevich will touch for the Flyers, and the icing call will be made. You know, there's Brad May. We talked about him scoring the big overtime goal that clinched the series a couple of years ago against the Boston Bruins. The goal that was scored at the odd in Buffalo.
That was a highlight goal, too. Ron Hextall, of course, being in goal. Not really a surprise. But it's interesting, in talking with Bob Clarke, he mentioned about using Hextall. He simply said that Clark had a conversation with Vladislav Tretiak, the great Russian goaltender, and he cleared up something. Tretiak said to Clark, he said, it's not the way the goalie plays that the team plays, it's the way the team plays. Then the goalie will respond to that. So that makes the decision to using a particular goaltender a little easier.
There was the on. Now to Brown. Shoots it at the net. Hasek had an easy time with that. Himmelev. Now at the side of his own goal. Gives it off to Gary Galley. Back to center ice. Sweeney's got Himmelev with him. Sweeney with that long, rangy stride of his. Able to get the backhander away. And now the glove in the back of the head. The glove in the face. A few extracurriculars after the whistle. The players realizing they can probably get away with a little bit more here. And they're going to try to test the guys in the opposite colored sweaters.
Well, you got to understand as well that this is a little bit of political lobbying that these players are doing. In the playoffs, the beauty about playoffs, as we see here, the Sabres, 8 of the last 16 playoff games have gone into overtime. Here's a team that plays pretty tight hockey. But you're going to play a series, possibly a 7-game series against one another. You want to try and get every advantage, whether it be by intimidation or better play that you can early in the series. Little pushing and shoving is to be expected.
Face off here, LaFontaine. They control it. Jitnik shot. And a trickle through as Jitnik half band on it. Now Svoboda. Pressured by LaFontaine. Able to get it now to Dykhouse. It's tipped by Deneen. And they blow the whistle right away.
Well, normally teams don't have a lot of time to prepare for these playoffs. The Philadelphia Flyers, of course, didn't really know that they were going to play the Sabres until Wednesday night. Whereas the Sabres had prepared as of April 23rd. They had a little mini training camp we talked about earlier in the broadcast. Muckler said he never had time for his team to practice. So they focused on the Flyers, which was their next game. Essentially, they have an edge in preparation.
There is Jitnik now. Wheeling in the Philadelphia zone. Takes it back behind the Flyers net. Centers right out in front. Dahl was in the vicinity, so he is back from his funny nose. The shot here was blocked by Brind'Amour. Now out near the line, held in by Galley. He tries the shot, tipped just wide as LaFontaine was planted right in front of Hextall. And here comes Brind'Amour now. With DeMille coming behind him. DeMille couldn't get the drop pass. Intercepted McGillney. He's got LaFontaine behind the Flyer defense, and the pass was up in the air. We've been told, Denny, excuse me, that Eric Desjardins, the Flyer defenseman, has gone down to the Flyer dressing room. It looked like he went under his own power, so it may just be a skate or equipment problem. Lead pass down for Bennett. Bennett gets the shot away. Would have been wide, but Hasek made the stop, and now Ashley for the Sabres. Reverses it around the boards of his own zone. Here is Muni, back for Ashley. Sabres come out with it. Sweeney off the stick of McGillney. Kevin Haller now. Odin lead pass. McTavish well covered by Pearson, who falls down. And McTavish one-hands it into the Buffalo zone. Yuri Himmelev has it there now for the Sabres. Avoids McTavish. Himmelev plays it ahead into the Philadelphia zone. Hextall just stops it there. Haller bangs it up the left wing side, and May runs into Podine. Here's McTavish with the puck. Pushes it past Mellick. It hit the linesman, and not sure that the play was offside, but the linesman, Campanello, says it was.
Well, probably one of the
You're watching bonus coverage. The Philadelphia Flyers and the Buffalo Sabres all even at 2 and into the first overtime period at the Spectrum in Philadelphia. First overtime of the playoffs. Thanks to our friends at Fox, we're able to bring you this extra coverage on TSN this afternoon. Sabres, Flyers, even at 3, first overtime period.
The Edmonton Oilers and one with the New York Rangers. Boy, how accurate a statement is that?
Well, a lot of coaches would probably say, I'd like to go into a series with the experience, figuring I've got a better chance to get that execution. But you're right, it is the actual execution that does it. Yeah. And as you mentioned, when your Islanders club started their Stanley Cup run, you didn't have a great deal of experience, obviously, when you won your first one. But you built on that, able to win 4 in a row.
30-second timeout called by Buffalo.
Well, the Buffalo Sabres have called a 30-second timeout here, which is rather interesting.
Well, neither team called a timeout during regular play, so they both had their one timeout left. And the Sabres, John Muckler, who is not talking to his players at the moment or showing them anything in particular, seems to feel that maybe it's the time to give my guys a rest. Remember, he's shortened his bench quite a bit. He's played almost exclusively the line of Bob Sweeney and Pat LaFontaine.
Just a reminder for those of you that might just be tuning in, we're in the first overtime here at the Core State Spectrum. We're tied at 3, and tonight the Fox primetime lineup begins at 7 with the world's funniest outtakes, followed by The Simpsons, The Critic, Married with Children, and another Married with Children at 9:30 Eastern Time, all tonight right here on Fox. Well, they have 2 Stanley Cup banners hanging from the rafters here with the Spectrum, and they've had a lot of other success. Divisional championships, conference championships. This team went to the finals twice in the 1980s under Mike Keenan, losing both times to the Edmonton Oilers, once in '85, again in '87. Buffalo Sabres, of course, one of the teams that the Flyers beat. That was the second of the 2 Flyers Stanley Cups in 1975. Buffalo has not been back to the finals since then. Here is Mellick from behind his own net. So Muckler taking the timeout here in the first overtime. Carrying for the Flyers back in his own zone. And he puts that one right up into the crowd and out of play. LeClaire and Himmelev having some words.
Well, there's a comment that came from Eric Lindros that makes you scratch your head a little bit, and it's about this guy, John LeClaire. Eric Lindros said, John LeClaire has saved my career. Well, you have to dig a little deeper to understand why. Before LeClaire came to this team, Eric Lindros was trying to combine the finesse that he has, the physical bulk, and the physical game that he has. And it really wasn't working. It was becoming very frustrating for him. But with the addition of John LeClaire, it took a big part of the physical game away. And with the finesse that John LeClaire has brought to the Philadelphia Flyers, it has created another dangerous opponent. Eric Lindros giving wonderful compliment to his lineman.
And obviously Lindros deep in thought about what might happen here in this overtime. The Flyers, of course, if they can win a game or 2 here at the Spectrum before Lindros comes back, what a tremendous lift that will be heading into the odd. A bouncing puck here, steered aside by Hextall. Lindros, of course, has never played in a playoff game. McGillney, now to Daw, quickly across for LaFontaine, and Ron Hasseltine right there to make the offside call.
Can you figure how hard this is for Eric Lindros? It's just pain. He just wants it to stop. Of course, he wants the Flyers to score the next goal and make it stop. Eric Lindros has been with this organization for 3 years. He's labored through the tough times, not making the playoffs. And as he was quoted in one of the local papers saying, here we are finally making it to the playoffs, and I can't be part of it.
Went through a very brisk workout earlier this afternoon, about 12:30 here at the Spectrum, with the rest of the Flyers players that were scratched from this afternoon's game. So they were pushing him, obviously feeling that he needs the conditioning, and he will be able to return. Game 3 Wednesday night at the Arch. Big hit by LeClaire there, sent Bodger to the ice. And now Smellick, number 42 for the Sabres, back at his own blue line. Gives it off to Bodger, center ice now for Yuri Himmelett. Himmelett drives it right off the skate of the Flyer defenseman Carrion. Back to get it now, Yushkevich. Yushkevich with Pearson right on him. Pearson forces the puck to be cocked up, and the Flyers are going to get back and get it as you got a pile of two players from each club to the left of Hextall. And here comes Leclerc with Renberg, putting pressure on the Buffalo defense. Puck came loose, and it's worked all the way back to center ice. Svoboda has it there. Eric Desjardins has returned, incidentally, from the Flyers dressing room. He's down on the Flyers bench. If you look at number 24 for Philadelphia, Carl Dykhouse, he was acquired back in February from the Chicago Blackhawks for Bob Wilkie. Both guys primarily playing in the minor leagues in their organization, but again, Dykhouse, a guy with some size, 6'3", nearly 200 pounds, and we know that Bobby Clark is trying to build a big hockey club here.
And don't let that name, Dykhouse, fool you. He's a perfect bilingual, speaks French. Dykhouse has been one of the great surprises on defense. He, along with Carrion, are just raw rookies.
Hasek able to clear it around after the Sabres control the face-off. Job bump there by DeMaio. Here is Dykhouse. Bouncing puck, score! Bouncing puck went over the top of Hasek. The Sabres are trying to argue, but there is no argument here. The goal line is on, and the Flyers have won it in overtime. Dykhouse was the guy that bounced it in. Hasek, like so many of the goaltenders these days, Denny down on the ice. And you can't fault that strategy with the success that he's had, but this puck bouncing like a rubber ball, and the Flyers take a 1-0 lead in the series.
Well, Dykhouse is the man we just talked about. All he does is direct the puck at the net. From Brind'Amour, Dykhouse just directing the puck at the net. Right here, it takes 1, 2 bounces. The puck is soft. It's hot down there. It bounced right over top of Dominic Hasek. Look at the reaction from the bench. Yes.
So much for playoff experience. A guy playing in his very first playoff game, as you call him, a raw rookie. He scores the goal.
Carl Dykhouse winning the game. On the
All right, we're rolling along here. And as we watch this, Dominic Hasek.
First as coaches in the NHL. The Devils have it. Caluso. On for Randy McKay and back in. Blocker sets it up. Double team, they dive! The crash line, Michael, forechecking. Randy McKay in overtime. Seemingly harmless. But with the crashers out there, you never know.
Right, oh, I got to turn that one off. Yeah, Randy McKay. Now I'm going to.
Just about ready to start overtime here at Madison Square Garden in New York. Thibault tested this evening has made 30 saves and a real pressure cooker.
Richter came on in the second period. He has been sharp also. 32-26 the shots on goal in favor of New York. Well, here's overtime here in game 4. And the first call is an icing call against Quebec. And again, let's go to Scott Russell.
All right, Bob, thanks. I just talked to Jim Ramsey, Rangers trainer, as he came out on the ice for the overtime period, and he told me that Jeff Bukaboom has a slight concussion, won't be back for the rest of the game, hopes to be back next game in Quebec City.
I wonder if Jeff thinks it's a slight concussion. He was really banged up and woozy as he went up.
The face-off is deep in the Quebec zone to the left of Thibault. Quebec controlling on the face-off. Cleared to the line. Nolan does not reach it. It is still onside as Verbeek was in there deep. Karpatsev at the blue line trying to shot. Graves shooting, and that's blocked. Nordiques trying to catch up to it near center. Forsberg did not. Wolanin nearly gave it away to Verbeek. He was heading for the net. Quebec on it. Nolan coming in, dropping it back. Nolan again, coming right in front. And it was cleared away by Karpatsev. A fine play. Leach golfing the ball to the puck to center ice. And here's Coop throwing it over center. The Rangers stopped by Coop a second time. Nordiques move up on it. Adam Foote shooting it in. Far side. Quebec on the attack. Ricci, dangerous tonight, got it out front. And the Rangers pick it up and come back. Foote tried to knock it down. It was way up high. Kovalev went in after him. Stopped at the blue line by Lowe. Kovalev back of the goal. Out front of the pass. They just missed it. Zubov shoots. That's blocked. And the point couldn't clear it by Zubov. Zubov near center. Quebec player hurt inside the line. And now they stop the play. Foote. I don't know what happened to him, John.
He blocked the shot.
Zubov shot. He teed it up. Foote went down. Blocked it. Struggled. Tried to get up. And I think decided enough's enough. Van Hellemond blew the play down.
He's looking at his wrist. Jacques Laverne is out. The fake shot first, and Foote was down early because Zubov faked the shot, and then the second shot, Foote is out of position, reaches with his hand to block it.
Well, the Rangers down by 1 on their defense core with the injury to Bukaboom.
On overtime, how does Mark Crawford feel?
We're going to try and use the same strategy that we use in regulation time. Our team has been one that's stressed all year to try and do the same things all the time. Be consistent with our effort, be consistent with our attack, pay attention to detail on our own end so that we can have the puck and be on offense where we think we've got a lot of talent.
We've got a good offensive team like the Quebec Nordiques have, and Mark Crawford pressing, trying to control the play offensively. Adam Foote being attended to on the Nordique bench.
And the face-off coming up to the right of Thibault. Minute 37 gone in overtime. Nedved on the draw against Ricci. And the linesman being ever so careful with these face-offs. Lowe taking the shot, deflected. Up over the net it goes. Point gets it out. Young trying to catch up, and the Rangers have it in the center ice area. And they turn back. Nedved in with a shot. That doesn't reach the net. Nedved went in after it, left it there. Larmer can't center it. Lefebvre for Quebec. Takes a bump. And again a shot to the line and out. Got by Zubov. Left back to the Ranger line. Through the crease, so no icing. Olanen picking it up. The Rangers changing. Clark's pass, a good one down to the right side, and Sakic moving in. Sakic left, and here's Clark. Stop, and Richter hangs on. Clark, oh, what a beautiful chance for Wendell Clark of the Quebec Nordiques, and Richter, well, he has been ever so solid.
I don't think Wendell Clark realized how much time he had. As soon as he got that puck, he let the wrist shot go, and Mark Crawford wants his team. Maintain your calm. Keep poised. Had a good scoring chance. It didn't go in. Let's just keep going. Nordique bench gets all excited because Wendell Clark, 3 Rangers on Deadmarsh, and Clark has the chance for the wrist shot. Richter out, cuts down the angle well, and takes it off the chest.
And the face-off in the Ranger zone. Mark Messier and the Rangers get away with that scoring chance. Richter the save, and now Verbeek steps in over the line. Dropped it back. Verbeek coming for the net. Forced to go back to the goal, and Leach went in. Verbeek trying to knock the puck loose, and does. Verbeek trying to center it, hit the back of the net with it. And the Nordiques finally control it. And they relieve the pressure by dumping it to center ice. Leach shoots it back in. And a foot. Here's Graves. Graves can't center it. Put it into the corner. Messier was coming for the net. The pass didn't reach him. Nolan missed it. They get it out anyway, and here's Nolan on the puck in center. And he put that one away over the glass into the right of the Richter. Face-off will come outside the line. Well, Colin Campbell in his first Stanley Cup as head coach. What about overtime, Coley?
Quite obvious that we're not a trapping team, and we had some exciting overtimes last year in the playoffs, and we believe that you just have to go after it. And we had the goaltending last year to support that system, and we were quite successful in overtime last year, and that's how we'll play this year.
We have been told that Jeff Bukaboom has been taken to hospital for precautionary reasons, just to double-check that situation, as Scott reported. A slight concussion is the first call on Bukaboom.
Huey Krupp sliding the puck to center ice, and it's hammered back in for him. Takes it back to the net. And here's Big Krupp to center ice, unmolested, and he dumps it into the right of the Ranger goal. Bassett centered it. That hit a Ranger player. Nearly got by Richter. Now they fall on it behind the net. And there will be a face-off in the Ranger zone. Lannon giving Quebec a 1-0 lead at 3:50 of the first. Nolan made it 2-0 at 9:40. And then Leach for the Rangers at 4:28 of the second period. Stayed that way until Kovalev got an early goal in the third at 2:03. And Leach set that one up.
Brian Leach, who plays most of the time with Jeff Bukaboom, now has Alexander Karpovtsev as his defensive partner, and that might cause Leach to stay back a little more.
3:40 gone in overtime. Sakic wanted to draw it cleanly. Laukkanen, and he fired it wide. Krupp took a shot that was blocked and ends up out in center ice. Laukkanen again hammers it in for Quebec. Rangers back to pick it up. Some forechecking now by the Nordiques. Nemchinov, however, gets it back up to center ice. Leach, what a big move he made, but Laukkanen stayed with the man. Puck comes back to the blue line. Hammered in a hurry by Karpovtsev. Rangers pressing. Leach rolled it ahead. Messier couldn't reach it. Here's a chance right here. And the shot is deflected wide of the net. Rangers continue to press Nordiques inside the line. Laukkanen poking at it. It comes loose. Doesn't get out. Now it's cleared, and Clark is away for Quebec. Clark, who had one big scoring chance, was turned around on that attempt. Karpovtsev back of his own net. Pass gets to the line, and it's shut down across center ice. Messier. He fires one in and goes to the Ranger bench. We played 5 minutes of overtime. There have been good chances. Baxson for Quebec. Rubbed out along the boards. Zubov trying to stay with him. The two players fall to the ice. The battle continues in the corner to the right of Richter, and they stop the play.
Oh, and Nolan creates the whistle in the offensive zone by being strong along the boards, and he must be getting a little tired. Almost 22 minutes, and Adam Graves, a big hit on Joe Sakic, created that last scoring chance, Bob, where the Karpovtsev fired it wide. Power forwards, the typical power forwards. Gary Roberts, Adam Graves, Owen Nolan.
You see him line up for the face-off, deep in the Ranger zone to the right of Mike Richter. Nearing 6 minutes of play in overtime here at Madison Square Garden in New York. Game 4. Rangers lead the series 2-1. Zubov. He'll wait for a moment. And to hurry the pass, and here's a break. Nedved coming in. And Tebow again makes the save. Big stops, great pressure. And there's a beautiful save by Tebow.
A planned play by the New York Rangers, that escape out of their own zone, the tip to Nedved. You work on something like that in practice, and Nedved goes in, he's being pressured, lets the high shot go, and Tebow again, very patient, waits for Nedved to make the first move, and then reacts.
Remember, folks, this kid, Jocelyn Thibault, who started out this past season as a teenager, is in his first Stanley Cup game. Province of Quebec turning out some pretty good young goaltenders. We know about Felix in Toronto. Martin Brodeur with his third shutout of the series between the Devils and the Bruins tonight.
Adam Foote dances in behind his own net. The point, turn around at center. Quebec on it. Huey Krug. He's quite active in this overtime. Can't keep it in. Young took a swing at it. Goes down the ice. Thibault is going to play it. Wisely did not. Icing called against New York.
Talk about rookie mistakes in the playoffs. We saw John Roloff for the Boston Bruins carry that puck out in front. Overtime records, the New York Rangers, 26 wins. And Coley Campbell talked about their run last year and how they played so well in their overtime games last year. And that was their leadership came through. Their best players were their best players. And I think the Nordiques tonight is Peter Forsberg their best player? Is Joe Sakic their best player? Owen Nolan has come through. But for the Nordiques to be successful, their best players have to be their best players.
Sakic is on the ice now for Quebec. Won the draw, two. The shot from the line. Richter saved it. Rebound off the side of the net. Right in front of Clark. Jamming away at it. And Richter down. And the crowd gets up to applaud Mike Richter under heavy pressure.
Right from the face-off, the Rangers lose the face-off and are in trouble. Goes right back. Mike Richter set. Sees the long shot, makes the save, can't control the rebound, and Sakic shot it about a foot wide. Wendell Clark on the forehand can't get it. Being tied up pretty well by Jay Wells, and Richter with the easy save.
Another face-off to his left. And again, it's Sakic for Quebec against Messier, who won it this time. Kovalev along the boards. Gets a second chance to move it out over the line, gets a hit for it. And Adam Foote shoots it too high. And again, it's into the crowd to the right of Mike Richter.
We just show you the all-time playoff overtime records for these teams. Of course, the Rangers have been around a lot longer than the Nordiques, but in this past short regular season, Quebec in 6 overtime games. They won 1, tied 5, were not beaten. The Rangers played in only 3 out of the 48 regular season games. No wins, no losses, and 3 ties.
6 minutes and 7 seconds into overtime. Game 4. The Eastern Conference quarterfinals. Adam Foote. Up going high. Back to the line, and the Rangers are going to get it out to center ice. Nemchinov dropped it. Here they come. Leach, Nemchinov, and Kyprios. Nobody could get a shot. And the Nordiques feel the heat and get rid of it quickly. And that's an icing call against Quebec.
Adam Deadmarsh did a good job coming back for the Nordiques. And again, it's Brian Leach creating some offense for the Rangers. Deadmarsh read the play very well and got back in a hurry. Chopped his man so that they couldn't get the shot.
Well, these teams go at it again at the Colisée in Quebec City on Sunday. But, of course, tomorrow night it's way out west as far as the NHL schedule is concerned. The Blackhawks and the Maple Leafs will have it for you. 7:30 Eastern. And then game 2 tomorrow night from Vancouver. How about those Canucks beating the Blues last night? These teams Sunday afternoon, 3 o'clock Eastern in Quebec City.
From the face-off, Graves chopped one near the side of the net. Into the corner, they battled for it. Comes out, Zubov couldn't knock it down. Forsberg is up there for Quebec. He's tricky, but he couldn't get by the veteran Kevin Lowe. Now Messier tapping at it. He's away. Messier coming in, rolled it over in front. That pass was intercepted. Messier took a hard hit. The puck comes to the line, and the Nordiques get it up to center ice. Bassett Just left it there. The Nordiques want to change. We are nearing the 8-minute mark of overtime. Good chances at both ends. Verbeek's stealing one now. Finn is watching him. Verbeek is top. In on the boards. The two players fall. And the Nordiques try to get it out. They will. Lapointe dropped it back. Finn played it to the right side. And it's shot in deep. Rangers again. As the Quebec Nordiques were changing. Larmer rolled it in front. Nedved shot. That's blocked in front. And the Nordiques shoot it down the ice. Rector realizing his mate was in trouble. He's out of the net to clear it. Long pass, reaching center ice. The Rangers come up with it. Nedved dropped it back. Larmer coming in. Rebound score! The Rangers won it. Play by the veteran Larmer. It gets this whole crowd on its feet. The Rangers win in overtime, 3-2.
Starts with Peter Nedved, takes the puck wide. Leach starts the play. A long pass. Larmer to Nedved. Nedved goes wide, turns the defense. Larmer, fake shot. Goes for his own rebound. Drive to the net. Don't give up. Larmer gets the defenseman to fall down, picks up his own rebound, and beats Jocelyn Thibault. And it's too bad for Thibault. A strong game for the youngster in the Nordique net.
The reaction of the Rangers, Mark Messier doing a Fred Astaire imitation as his mates jump over the boards. And right now, Scott Russell standing by with tonight's hero.
All right, guys, here he is, Steve Larmer. All right, guys, here he is. Steve Larmer got the winning goal. Well, first of all, tell us about it.
Well, 3-on-2, and Nedved made a great play going wide and taking the defenseman in and dropped it back. And I didn't get a good shot away on the first one, but I was fortunate enough to get the rebound and put it in.
All night long, you guys seem to draw energy from this building. I mean, you love playing here, obviously.
Well, it's an exciting place to play, and you know, we found that out last year when we did win. And sometimes you got to use that crowd to dig down and go a little harder.
The change to Mike Rick seemed to lift you guys up.
Well, yeah, through no fault of Glenn Healy. I thought he played extremely well for us in the first period, but you know, they really come out hard and got that 2-goal lead before we really started to play, and you know, Mike stepped in and did a great job.
All right, thanks a lot, Steve. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Steve Larmer scores the winning goal as the Rangers win this one 3-2, and they take a stranglehold, a 3-1 lead in the series. We're back in a moment.
Leave lawns brown and patchy. Now you can have a beautiful, healthy lawn with Rich Green from SuperTech. Designed to resist disease and insects, Rich Green is specially blended for harsh
base elimination. Face off to the right of Reagan. Troy Murray looks like he's going to get a lot of the important face-off work along with Ron Francis down the stretch. Yager's out on the ice again. Dale Hunter on the draw for the Capitals. Won by Murray cleanly. McIver for Francis, who has 5 points in this game. Banged right back in by the Capitals. Eagles has had a nice game for Washington. Bumps with Murphy. Miller pushed in on the end boards. Murphy is there, so's Hunter looking for the puck. Hunter finds it, Murphy finds him. Now Eagles and Yager. A lot of work on the boards. These have been the battles the Capitals have been winning so far in this series. Back comes McIver and Murphy. 2 defensemen in there for Pittsburgh. Now McIver heads back. Stevens waits for help. Throws it in front. Sharp angle shot, save, carry. Puck is loose. McIver doesn't shoot it. Johansson watching him. Yager behind the net. Stevens is there as well. 3 players go down. The puck is underneath them. 3:05 left in the third. And some pushing and shoving behind the net now. John Wells has an update from Philly.
And it's official from the Spectrum this afternoon. The Sabres are the first team eliminated from the Stanley Cup tournament. The Philadelphia Flyers, the first team to move on. So the Flyers win their first playoff series. 6-4 is the final today.
So the first team is eliminated from the Stanley Cup playoffs. The Buffalo Sabres are gone. The Flyers win that one in 5. Dallas has a 3-goal lead on Detroit. They look like they will stave off elimination. Quebec leading the Rangers. The Penguins and Capitals going down to the wire here in Pittsburgh.
Well, and there you see that stalwart defenseman, Jaromir Jagr. His 2 defensemen going up on a 3-on-2 break. It's not often that you'll have an offensive threat like Jagr playing defense. But he said, gee, I'm going to stay back. I see 3 of my guys in front of me. I better make sure that we don't give Washington their 6th goal tonight.
A little bit of debris on the ice down in the Washington zone as the fans are becoming increasingly disenchanted with both referee Mike Magoo and the Washington players in general. Jim Schoenfeld at the Capital bench has gotten a great effort from his players again, but they're in a battle today with the Penguins.
Taking a look at those Capital forwards, you're wondering exactly what they're saying. Not a lot of experience in that lineup today.
The goals keep coming around the NHL. Let's go to Quebec.
Well, no more goals, but I can tell you it is final as the Quebec Nordiques stage a spirited display and beat the New York Rangers at Le Colisée. This means the series heads back to New York City. Quebec with a solid 4-2 victory over the Rangers today.
All right, John, thank you. Another win. Another final, a win for the Nordiques. Game 6 between the Nordiques and Rangers coming up. Penguins hoping for Game 6 in this series. And the noise picks up.
A little bit of line juggling here. You can see Eddie Johnson's got what he wants. He's got Jagr on the ice. Dale Hunter's nowhere to be found.
Big line against big line. Francis and Pavanka on the draw. Won by Francis. Samuelson plays it off the end boards and very nearly got it to bounce back out right into the crease. Nice try there by Samuelson. Riki inside 3 minutes to go in the third, a 5-5 tie. Puck cleared down into the Pittsburgh zone. No icing. Back to get it is Shell Samuelson. Now they'll have to clear the zone, and with Samuelson sitting on top of Konowalchuk, we'll have a stoppage.
Dan, what a great play by Ulf Samuelson there. He's got the puck. There's a Washington Capital defender coming right at him. Rather than dumping it, he knows his own rink. He practices here every day. He dumps it in, just about gets the goal from behind the net.
Let's get another update now, this time from Dallas.
And who would have thought the Dallas Stars would live to fight another day, but they will. Solid trouncing of the Red Wings at Reunion today. Dallas into a 2-0 lead early. They held that through 2 thanks to Andy Moog. And the final is in. It is 4-1 Dallas over Detroit. Stars' first win in the playoffs.
Oh, so all the afternoon action is done with the exception of the Penguins and the Capitals. The fans here in Pittsburgh have gotten their money's worth today, that's for sure. 2 minutes and 40 seconds left in the third. It's Washington 5, Pittsburgh 5. The Capitals have led on 4 separate occasions, and each time the Penguins have come back to tie. Ron Francis has 5 points. Jagr has 2 goals for the Pens. Konowalchuk's shot is wide. Bondra and Hunter each with a couple of goals for the Capitals. If Washington wins, the Penguins are done. If Pittsburgh wins, there will be a Game 6. Penguins in white, Capitals in red. Reggett. Long pass for Jagr. Picked off by the Caps at center ice. Kristich looking for it. Has some help now. This is Cote with a shot and the save by Reggett. A little bit of stick work on Keith Jones at the end of the play as well. We're going to be here for a while yet, maybe, if there's no goal in the next minute and 58 seconds. There's a lot of hockey still to come on TSN. NHL Game Night begins at 7 o'clock Eastern with John Wells, Bob McKenzie, Terry Crisp. A half an hour getting you caught up on today's action and set for tonight's action, which you can see here on TSN. The New Jersey Devils and the Boston Bruins
Devils lead that series 3-1. Paul Romanuk and Gary Green will be with you for that huge game between the Devils and the Bruins. 1:58 left in the third. What a game this has been. Norm McIver. The center ice, gets over the red line, dumps it in. Carey plays it around on the boards. Kept in by Murphy toward the net, a rebound. And Carey leaves it for Cote. Watched by Robitaille. McEachern is out there as well for the Penguins. And urging the Capitals to get moving. McIver and Murphy back on the point. Kristich doing a little forechecking. Tip for McEachern, bounced over his stick. And Jim Johnson dumps it in for Washington. This is onside. Miller has had a pretty strong game. Off for Kristich. Looks in front. Passes blocked. Gets it back. Behind the net now. But it's only Larry Murphy there to pick it up. By Robitaille, down the ice, no icing. Penguins will go for a change. 1 minute to go in the third. Pittsburgh and Washington tied at 5. Johansson is taken down. And offside is the call with 58 seconds left in the third. Kjell Samuelsson back on the ice after being cut earlier on a play that infuriated the Penguins because there was no call.
Well, and he's feeling a little bit nasty out there, it looks like, taking Johansson into the boards head first there. That was a big turning point, Dan, that's for sure. If that call is made, we may be looking at no overtime compared to what it looks like right now, only 58 seconds, tied 5-5.
The Penguins down to 2 lines pretty much in the final really 7 or 8 minutes of this game. You'll see Francis, Jágr, Stevens, Robitaille, McEachern, and Troy Murray. Those have been the 6 forwards Eddie Johnston's been using. John Cullen, Joe Mullen, and Thomas Sandstrom haven't been seen in a few minutes. Now Stevens jumps across. Still 58 seconds left as we wait for the faceoff just inside the Washington blue line. Pivanka on the draw for the Capitals. Finally, the puck is dropped. The Capitals win it. Kristich with Pivanka. Shoots it in off the end boards. It bounces right through the crease, and Reagan had to be careful on that. Samuelsson goes flying. Now Francis tries to clear it ahead to Stevens. Watched by Johansson. Tries to center it. Nobody there. Back out to center ice. Penguins on a change. 35 seconds left. Francis with Stevens. Jágr to the front of the net. Pass too far in front of him. Couldn't get it. Tries to battle for it. Kept in. Murphy's got room to shoot. Through a couple of legs and just wide on the far side. Stevens is dumped in front. 20 seconds left. Capitals on their heels a little bit now. The Penguins are coming on. Johansson does a nice job to get the puck down into the Pittsburgh zone. Less than 10 seconds to go. Maybe one more rush for Pittsburgh. Play at center ice now. 5 seconds left. Robitaille offside with 0.6 of a second left in the third period. Randy, I think we can say with some certainty this game is headed to overtime.
We are. Well, the fans have had their money's worth and more for the first 3 periods. Let's see how much more they get to enjoy these 2 great teams going head to head in this battle for supremacy in the first round of the Stanley Cup.
The Penguins trying to avoid elimination at the hands of the Capitals for the second time in 2 years. The first 4 games of this year's series have mirrored last year's. Washington wins game 1, Pittsburgh 2, Washington 3 and 4. Last year Pittsburgh won 5 and forced a 6th before the Capitals won. And this game is going to overtime in a 5-5 tie. Now the Penguins going with just 2 lines for the last 8 minutes in overtime. Do they go back to 3?
Well, they may, but you know what? You start shortening your bench like that, and it's going to affect you, especially when you've got some age. Let's see what happens in the overtime.
Eddie Johnston and the Penguins headed to overtime against Jim Schoenfeld and the Capitals. We're not done yet. It's 5-5 at the end of regulation. Pittsburgh and Washington, a great playoff game here at the Civic Arena.
Simon is first, Young his third for Quebec. Final, Philadelphia 6, Buffalo 4 for Buffalo.
When you drive your Jeep out of the dealership, you quickly discover that it's engineered for the cruel world outside. But the best way to protect your investment is to bring it back to your Jeep Eagle dealer for regular maintenance. For advanced computerized diagnostic systems, for genuine Mopar parts, and for Chrysler-trained technicians that know your Jeep best. Chrysler 5-star service keeps your Jeep on or off the road because nobody knows your Jeep like your Jeep Eagle dealer.
McCain has got the edge. The edge on taste. McCain Elios Deep Dish Pizza has got the edge on taste. When you need a bite, try the amazing taste of McCain Elios Deep Dish Pizza. It's got a unique deep dish crust topped to perfection and a special raised edge that keeps the toppings in place. So there's no escaping the great taste. McCain Elios Deep Dish Pizza. We've got the edge on taste.
Introducing a towering achievement. Its document handler resets originals. An auto stacker gathers collated sets all by itself. An electronic brain even monitors image quality. The new Meta DC6090 has the technology to get things done, whether you're there or not. Extension cords not included.
Would you believe it if I told you this was one of those shows, Sherry?
Why is that man beating up these kids?
Please don't anybody underestimate my commitment to this game.
Could we share some of those stories?
All the measures sort of freak when I say that.
Hey!
But,
Hey! Hey!
It's not about justice in the beginning. It's about conviction.
There is a perception. You don't necessarily think it's correct, I gather.
I'm giving my feeling about
Get inside the story with Dave Hodge. Inside Sports. Weekdays on TSN.
Well, the Penguins refused to quit, so we've got overtime ahead. 5-5, Penguins Capitals overtime coming up. Let's get to all the afternoon highlight action. First stop in Quebec as the Nordiques tried to stay alive against the Rangers today, and they succeeded. Early first, Mike Ricci parked in front. Great pass from Clark. He directs that behind Richter for a 1-0 Quebec lead early.
And then the Rangers go on the power play. Zubov takes the shot. Good job by Adam Graves to dig that puck out from underneath Thibault's glove, and Messier puts it in. 1-1.
Then Kevin Lowe tries to clear. The puck comes right to Wendell Clark. He winds up and fires, beating Richter there.
And a big day for the big guys. Chris Simon, big, strong, physical forward, shows he's got a nice soft touch, comes around the wraparound. Mike Richter down and out. Simon gets it up and over him, and the big boy from Wawa makes it 2-1.
Minutes later, Rangers power play. Messier finds Verbeek in the slots. One-timer beats Thibault. It is 3-2.
And then it's Wendell Clark going down the wing, looking for his second goal. Just misses on the backhand, just by the post.
Clark down the wing again, fires the slap shot off the crossbar.
The Nord zone late. Pat Verbeek has the open net. Oh, and he shoots it wide, and there it is. Pat Verbeek misses that empty net. Would have tied the game, but the empty netter is at it, and the Nords go on to win it, and they're going back to the Garden in New York.
4-2 is the final. And it was a solid physical game in Quebec today. Everyone seemed to enjoy it, except, I suppose, the Rangers, who have to play one more now.
Well, fancy more hockey. I bet you Verbeek's going to see that shot for all night long tonight. And I tell you, for the diehard hockey fans, what a great hockey game that was. It had great goalkeeping, both ends of the ice. Goalies did their job. And for the faint of heart, you wouldn't want to watch it. And if you're allergic to wood, you don't want to be involved in that game because it was a lot of lumber laid on and a lot of board checking done. Good hockey game.
All right, when you look at Wendell Clark, he did it just about everything for the Nordiques today, and obviously he's a big factor in the victory.
Well, Wendell Clark's play throughout this series has been a little bit curious. On one hand, he's been a physical force. He's been slashing, he's been hitting, he's been threatening to drop the gloves a couple of times, never actually did, but a physical force. But he had 0 goals, 0 assists, was -6. The one positive sign, he had 14 shots on goal going into today's game. Today he set up the first goal, he scored a goal, he almost whizzed one right by the post, he hit the crossbar. So a big day for Wendell Clark. He really helped to inspire that team.
Yeah, prior to this, though, today, he did have a couple of Kovalovs, though, didn't he?
There you go.
Yeah, there were. Just ahead, the Flyers and the Sabres, the highlights from the Spectrum in Philly. Heading to overtime in Pittsburgh, Capitals, Penguins, even at 5.
Our favorite product is a new product we just put on the market, and it's Canadian-style veggie back bacon. creating something totally new that didn't exist before. Long distance is a major expense in our company. The Advantage saving plan is much more competitive, and based on the last 4 or 5 years, our price has come down 35 to 40%. And it saves us money we can reinvest in R&D and in expanding the distribution of our product.
Since the beginning, you could always depend on your neighborhood for whatever you needed for your family vacation. Even when you needed a car with more trunk space.
Let Thrifty help you plan your vacation with a free custom trip routing from the Canadian Tire Auto Club.
So whether you're traveling in your neighborhood or to someone else's, we're there. Your neighborhood thrifty car rental, historically known for low rates.
Yeah?
Daddy, I wanted to eat something with you.
Sorry, big guy, no time this morning.
Look in your case.
Kellogg's Nutri-Grain cereal bars, now in peach.
Looks like some little surprise from Mommy.
I got one too.
Delicious crust with whole grain oats with real fruit filling and low in fat.
Peach.
Do you love it?
I do.
We're having a good time, Daddy.
Yeah.
Can we do lunch?
Kellogg's Nutri-Grain bars as part of a complete breakfast. Good food on the go.
People everywhere are having fun playing and saying Tim Hortons.
Roll up the...
You could win one of 15 neon sport coupes.
I want a neon. Win!
5,000 Sony CD stereos and over 7.5 million Tim Hortons prizes.
Thank you. Roll up the rim to win.
If it's under the rim, you
win. All kinds of cool stuff.
So roll up the rim to win today.
Stanley Cup playoffs on TSN. Our game rocks.
It certainly did this afternoon when a lot of the Spectrum in Philadelphia. Flyers, Sabres, Game 5, Buffalo on the brink as we take a look at this one. And the Flyers get off to a very, very quick start. First period, 1-0 Philadelphia. Eric Lindros flips it to Kevin Haller. He makes the catch, then makes the goal. It is 2-0 Philadelphia.
And later in the period, it's the Big E comes down, makes his move, goes to the corner, throws it out in front. And Eric Lindros gets his first playoff goal ever. Gary Gallagher
Here's
gets it for him.
Terry's play of the day right here. Dominic Hasek behind the net, gives it to John Leclerc. Hasek then moves the net, but that, no, it was in.
European goalies practice this.
You're not allowed to do that? No. Doug Bodger shot from the point. Wayne Presley parked in front of the net. Does a nice job of deflecting that one by Hextall. Sabres now only down 5-1.
Late second period, Hextall coughs up the puck. Dave Hannon to Presley. He scores into the empty net. The goalies had, well, they didn't have all great moments. It was 5-2 then. And
third period, 5-3 Philadelphia. Rod Brindamore, Kevin Dineen 2-on-1. Dineen puts it upstairs where you want to put it on Dominic Hasek. Beats them. Flyers lead 6-3. The Sabres had a late goal to make it 6-4, but it is all over. And the Buffalo Sabres are eliminated from the playoffs.
And Terry, when you looked at the Sabres in this one, they went without a whimper.
Let me tell you, size, goalkeeping, they were hungry, and they could, right now the Flyers could coin the phrase from Charles Barkley. They could say, we're in the butt-kicking business, and right now business is pretty good.
All right, Sabres become the first team eliminated from the 1995 Stanley Cup playoffs. Just ahead, Wings and the Stars from Detroit. After 3 in Pittsburgh, well, it's still all even, folks, so we're headed for overtime.
.20-foot baskets, 300-point games, 100-yard courts. In the future, athletes will make the game faster, farther, tougher. But today's athlete can choose new All-Sport. Fluid replacement, unsurpassed taste, 4 thirst-quenching flavors. All-Sport is a body quencher. So before it gets to this, new All-Sport, the game will never be the same.
If the choice was yours, you'd wear something casual to work. But in reality, you have to wear steel-toed work boots. So you wear comfortable, lightweight Dakota Aggressor work boots with the safety you need and the all-day comfort you want. So, when work's finished, you're not. Dakota Aggressor work boots for men and women, only at Mark's Work Wearhouse.
Welcome back. The Detroit Red Wings controlled every aspect of their series with the Dallas Stars until Game 4 today. Dallas jumped into the lead for the first time in the series. And the story of the game was Andy Moog early. Detroit 2-on-1 here. Doug Brown with a shot. Moog comes up with a save.
And Dallas finally does get that first goal to take the lead. Good effort by Dean Evason. Cruises in behind the net. Picks up the puck. Throws it out in front. And Greg Adams puts it in with Mike Vernon looking for Dean Evason to come out the other side of the net.
Yeah, he was looking both ways in the play. Late first period, Dallas strikes again. Power play, Kevin Hatcher from the point. This one gets through everyone. And in behind Mike Vernon. 2-0 Dallas.
Dallas also dishing out some good hits here. Paul Cavallini puts Darren McCarty down for the full facial plant. McCarty is a woozy young man, but he did, of course, come back in this game and was a bit of a factor.
Now, late in the third period, Detroit blows Moog's shutout here. It is Bob Airy with the shots and Darren McCarty out front with a tip-in. 3-1 Stars at that point. But Dallas held on and made it a 4-1 final, so there will be a Game 5 in Detroit. And I guess when you look at the playoffs, and you really should understand this, that there is never a sure thing. I thought Dallas, no chance, like they're done, cooked.
Well, we were sitting here before our show. We went on. We said, okay, let's bury Dallas. They're done. Obviously, Bob Gainey doesn't agree with us, and Andy Moog certainly didn't agree with us for the simple fact that Andy made the key saves at the key time, and they got 3-0. Andy slammed the door on them and wouldn't let them in. So they go back to Motown. Big D goes to Little D for another game.
All right, that's the story from Texas this afternoon. Still ahead, we've got overtime from Pittsburgh. The Capitals and the Penguins are even at 5 through regulation. Someone's going to win it, and we'll be here to see it.
Introducing the all-new Eat More Cup.
What's with the camel? I don't believe this. It's new. Eat More Caramel. Read the script. It says loaded with peanuts and chewy caramel. And not too sweet-tasting people. I don't see a camel in the script. I know it's difficult to understand the difference between camel and caramel. Perhaps if you're a total idiot.
New Eat More Caramel. It's new and it's caramel.
Somebody get this camel away from me now.
Welcome back to TSN Hockey Control. We're heading for overtime in Pittsburgh at the Civic Center. It's 5-5, and you guys want to pick some guys who will score the overtime winner here. So this is Terry's first crack at this, Max.
Oh,
let him go first.
I'm the rookie, so I get to go. Okay, I got to go with my sentimental one. I got to go with Joey Mullen for Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And I'm going back to my tough boy Hunter for the Caps.
All right, Mac.
Jaromir Jagr get the hat trick if the Pittsburgh Penguins win it and stave off elimination. If not, Steve Konowalchuk for the Washington Caps.
All right. Well, we'll see if anybody's right. I kind of like Bondra and maybe Jagr, too. Okay. Well, we'll...
You can't take Jagr. I just took him, so you can't take him.
I'll take Stevenson.
Okay.
All right. All right. Let's get the scoring summary now and show you what happened in the period of this hockey game. It was the Penguins coming back a couple of times. Bondra with his fourth goal from Kristich at 7:14 as we pick up on the third period scoring summary. And then Jagr from Francis at 8:23. Bondra came back with one more to make it 5-4 from Cote at 8:49. And then the tying goal from Kevin Stevens is fourth of the playoffs, Francis and Jagr. Shots in the period 12-7 for Pittsburgh through 3 periods now, 30-28, and we're set for overtime. Perfect for Dan Schulman and Randy Gregg in Pittsburgh.
And we're having a great time here, John. It's been a terrific hockey game, exciting end-to-end action, and nobody, Randy, has provided more of that excitement today than Jaromir Jagr.
You couldn't see two better dekes on breakaways. First of all, he has to get around the defenseman almost forward. Joe Juneau gets around, beautiful backhand deke, but it's not over yet. Later in the game, Jagr gets the puck. He's able to come in. Bit of a flip pass here But instead of going to his backside, he decides just to make things a little bit interesting, over to the far side, open net.
For the Capitals, their heart and soul came to play today. The captain, Dale Hunter, has had a whale of a game for them.
Well, he sure has. He doesn't make it quite as beautiful, but you know what? It still goes in the net and still counts exactly the same. Here's a bad giveaway early in the game by Francois Leroux. We were worried for the Penguins because they would always be behind. Nice, easy pickings in the top shelf there for Hunter. But today, at least, the Pittsburgh Penguins battled back. Got that, not only that one, but you can see another open net goal. Dale Hunter, a great play by his teammate to feed him in the open slot.
So Ken Regan has the task of keeping the Pittsburgh Penguins alive in the playoffs. He's been beaten 5 times. The shot's 30-28 in favor of the Penguins. Down at the other end, it's the rookie, Jim Carey, playing in the biggest game of his young NHL career. The Washington Capitals have lost their last 4 overtime games in the playoffs. The last time the Penguins had an overtime game, David Volek scored, and the Islanders knocked the Penguins out in '93. Only once have the Penguins and Capitals met in the playoffs. It was in overtime. It was in 1991, and Kevin Stevens scored to give Pittsburgh a win. Let's see what happens here. A Washington win, the series is over. A Pittsburgh win, there will be a game 6. Here's Calle Johansson. He has a goal for the Caps, too far for Kristich. Ulf Samuelsson gets it out. Francis Iñárritu. Knocked out by the Caps. Change already by the Penguins, and the Caps follow suit just 30 seconds into the overtime. Murphy behind him. Watched by Juneau. Leroux. Ahead for Stevens. Eddie Johnston went with just 2 lines the last 8 minutes of the 3rd period. We haven't seen any of the faces that were on the bench for the last 8 minutes of the 3rd here to start overtime. Juneau has it in Pittsburgh territory, right out in front. And a close chance there for Konowalchuk. Leroux. Now back to the point, kept in by Cote. Behind the net, Murphy is there. Over to McEachern. Keith Jones watching him. Robitaille, and the Penguins finally get it out. Sandstrom. Murphy with a shot. He's wide on the stick side of Carey. Sandstrom keeps it in. Down in the corner, McEachern plays it for Robitaille off the side of the net. Juneau's tripped up, and he keeps going. It's a 3-on-2 for the Capitals. Juneau. Jones to the net. Couldn't get there. The pass slid through the crease. Now way back in the Washington zone is Konowalchuk. Gonchar. Here's Dale Hunter. Goes around behind the net, loses the puck. And Hudson is there for the Penguins. Now Eddie Johnston has expanded the bench a bit. Mullins out there with Hudson. Gonchar for the Capitals. To Hunter out to center ice. 2 minutes gone in the overtime. Ulf Samuelsson. There with Troy Murray. He just dumps it out. Calle Johansson will go get it. Quick changes. The Penguins make another one. The Caps as well. The forwards change, and now the defensemen will follow them to the bench. Jagr gets it down into the Washington zone. Cote after it. He's being watched by Stevens. At center ice. Samuelsson clears it back in. Now Stevens lining up Cote, and he hits him hard. Francis is in there as well. Bondra and Cote for the Capitals. We've got a stoppage, 2 minutes and 40 seconds into overtime.
Well, we've got a lot of stars in the game, and who's going to score the overtime? Well, you never know, but if you were looking at the odds, you might think about this man. The all-time Stanley Cup playoff game-winning goal leader is Rocket Richard with 6. With 4, there are 5 players, and Dale Hunter's one of them.
He's already got 8 points in this series. He and Joey Juneau tied for the club lead. For the Capitals, how about Ron Francis? Has 12 points so far in the playoffs. He has assumed the playoff scoring lead. And he's out there again with Stevens and Jagr. Face off to the right of Jim Carey. These 3 players, Jagr, Francis and Stevens have scored all 5 of the Pittsburgh goals. Back to the point. Samuelson with time, and he fires it wide on the far side. Murphy tees it up. That doesn't get through. Riki to Kristich, and the Capitals get it out. Back the other way now for Pavanka. He's stripped, and here come the Penguins. Lead pass didn't work for Francis. Pavanka with Bondra, and Riki dumps it in. The Capitals dominated the first 15 minutes of this game. The Penguins kept coming back every time Washington took a lead, and they did that 4 times. Had a 2-0 lead in the first. Cote and Yager. Swatted back down into the Washington end. Carey leaves it. Changes for both teams. McKecker. Thomas Sandstrom is on the ice for the first time in a while. Cote blasts it back in. 3.5 minutes into overtime. LaRue taking time behind the net, off the glass, and into the Washington zone. Back to get it is Ken Clee. Both coaches, after going down to about 10 or 12 skaters for the latter stages of the third period, have expanded the benches again. Jim Johnson being hassled behind his own net. Robitaille comes up with the puck. Good work by McEachern down there. He's taken down by Johnson. And here comes Juneau with Jones. Juneau in deep. Around the net now. Jones to the front of the net as Juneau gets it out in front. It's kept in by Johnson, and he's stripped by Robitaille. Robitaille bothered by Konowalchuk. Here's LaRue, the defenseman, pitching into the play. Gets it out in front. They score! Robitaille!
Started the play, and he finished it too. But the unsung hero, big Frankie LaRue, following the play up passively, sees the open puck, gets it, makes a nice little move around the defenseman. But look at this saucer pass right to the front. Battling through a check, a beautiful pass right onto the stick of who else? The gunner, Luc Robitaille, to finish this game.
The Pittsburgh Penguins, Jaromir.
Luc Robitaille with the overtime winner at 4:30 of the first overtime period, and the Penguins have lived to see another day. Eddie Johnston's team is heading back to Landover.
And if you think Luc Robitaille was excited, take a look at those fans and Eddie Johnson. They still have a breath of life going into Game 6.
What sweet justice for Francois Leroux, as you mentioned, after the giveaway to Dale Hunter. Washington scores the first goal. He sets up the winner. The Penguins beat the Capitals 6-5 in overtime. We've got lots more coming your way. We'll be back after this.
It's here. It's invading your living room. The RCA Home Theater. Big, bright, with powerful sound. For an experience so extraordinary, you won't believe your senses. It's where the future of television is taking you.
Come into any RCA dealer across Canada for out-of-this-world savings. Roger, late copy.
When hockey season's finally over, summer's starting. So I don't want to spend all my time mowing the lawn. The Noma Brute Multi-Mode. It's today's answer. First, the Brute side discharges. or bags the cuttings for easy composting. Later in the season, it turns into a great mulcher. And in the fall, the Brute's leaf vac cleans up all those maple leaves. So, when hockey starts again, I just switch from one winning mode to another.
The Noma Brute, available at Canadian Tire and other fine retailers.
Yet possessed by an overwhelming sense of purpose. Inspiration is unleashed to create a work of art. Introducing the Acura TL Series, a new spirit of touring sedans. Acura, designed with purpose, driven by passion.
Here are the Molson Cup 3 stars from Pittsburgh. Third star of the hockey game in a losing cause, Dale Hunter, who had 2 early goals for the Capitals. The game's second star, Ron Francis, solid two-way performance. And the number 1 star of the hockey game, Jaromir Jagr, who dragged the Pittsburgh Penguins into overtime on his sizable shoulders. Penguins celebrate the victory on the game-winning goal by Luc Robitaille, set up by that guy, LaRue. 6-5, and the Pittsburgh Penguins carry on to head back to Washington.
For the best looking garden, it's the best home in the neighborhood.
Home Hardware.
With the best selection, the best names.
Like Fast Greening Home Gardener 1755 liquid lawn fertilizer with weed control. Controls over 50 varieties of broadleaf weeds. It's on sale now.
900 dealer buying power.
Home Hardware guarantees a great price.
Plus, lots of friendly advice.
When it comes to lawn and garden, Canada digs Home Hardware.
Great price, friendly advice at Home Hardware.
To make room for the advanced thinking that went into the new Chrysler Cirrus, a big idea was needed. Cab-forward design. Space for a new kind of seat that actually reduces driver fatigue. Space for an improved dual airbag system with its own backup electrical source. In back, space for another heating system and room for 3. Cab-forward design. Now there's room for thought. The new Chrysler Cirrus, Motor Trend's 1995 Car of the Year. Just stepping out for some air.
Watch out for the
pool.
Improve your nightlife with Noma Moon Rays.
I like the way the light falls on the water.
I like the way I don't. Call to get the book on how to improve your nightlife. And here's another great way to improve your nightlife.
Another Mai Tai, my dear?
Mai Tai?
Yes, you might.
Enter the Moon Rays over Maui contest for a trip for 2 to Hawaii from Gallagher's Travel and Noma Moon Rays. Details in store.
Might I?
Yes, you might.
For the TSN Turning Point, sponsored by Super 8 Motels. And in a game with so many twists and turns, it had to end on something like this. LaRue into the corner, the great backhand pass to Luc Robitaille, the one-timer past Jim Carey. And an exhausting game is over for everyone involved. The Penguins beat the Capitals 6-5 to force Game 6. The Capitals a little quicker to vacate the ice than the Penguins, who enjoyed the celebration, but they know they've still got work to be done. The Capitals still hold a 3-2 lead in this best-of-7. A cash donation will be made to the Coaching Association of Canada for the training and development of Canadian coaches in amateur sport on behalf of TSN and Super 8 Motels. With over 1,300 locations across Canada and North America, life's great at Super 8.
And welcome back to TSN Hockey Control. It's been a long day already, but there's lots more ahead. Let's run down what has happened in NHL playoff action so far, beginning in Quebec City at Le Colisée today. The New York Rangers scoring losing a 4-2 victory to Quebec, and somewhat fitting in that one. As we carry on, Philadelphia 6-4 over Buffalo. Dallas coming back to beat Detroit 4-1. And in overtime, a 6-5 final for Pittsburgh over Washington. no one picked Luc Robitaille to score the game-winning goal in this one. And get the $20
Let
from
me do it,
Crispy.
because I saw it.
No.
I'll verify
okay,
it.
no. What I want to say is, I had Connor Walchuk to score the goal. Well, he, I think, caused the overtime goal. He did a great job of back-checking Luc Robitaille up to the blue line. He took the puck off him. That's how Leroux ended up with it. But then Connor Walchuk peeled off. Robitaille went in all alone. I had Connor Walchuk to score for the Caps. I think he might have cost them the game.
Oh, I see. So you want half the purse.
He was in on the play, but I got to also admit that Bobby had Robitaille down as his third pick in his one. And I want to know, what was Leroux, a defenseman, doing that far up ice?
Well, he was setting up Luc Robitaille for the game-winning goal so that the Penguins could live another day. That wraps it up from TSN Hockey Control for now. But we are back in a hurry with the Devils and the Bruins. Well, it looks to me about 11 minutes from now. Playoff game night gets underway. We'll get ready for Game 2 of our TSN doubleheader. Right now, though, we'll send you to Sports Desk, an abbreviated edition with Gino Retta for all the stories, scores, and highlights from elsewhere.
NHL Tonight on TSN. Brought to you by Molson Canadian. And by All Sport, the new sports drink for athletes. All Sport, the game will never be the same.
This goal early on, 4:55, his fourth goal of the postseason, and it really had been his only glorious scoring chance in the game.
Well, Trevor Linden, the captain of the Vancouver Canucks, sits in the box. He has 1 minute 11 seconds left to go on his hooking penalty that was whistled by Terry Gregson late in regulation time. Who will be the hero? Will it be Brett Hull? He's been on the ice enough. He does have one official goal tonight. Been on the ice for almost 30 minutes. Havelbury matching him. Hull has the edge in shots and the edge in points. Those are the two big guns that may have a direct bearing on the outcome of this one. Gregson drops the puck, and sudden death overtime underway, and here comes Havelbury into the St. Louis zone. Backhander on Casey right away, and Casey with a solid stick save.
I expect to see the best hockey of this game. More disciplined hockey. Sticking to the system for Tom right here. Either team, I'm sure, could ill afford to take another penalty.
Blue still on the power play for 50 more seconds. Puck behind the Vancouver net. The Canucks just want to drag this penalty time on. There you see the overtime records this season. It's in the regular season. Vancouver did not win an overtime game in the entire 48-game regular season, but they didn't lose one either, did they? 30 seconds left to Linden taking penalty. Tikkanen fighting along the boards in the corner to Hull. Hull tied up by Jurgen Lume. Roberts in immersion, looking in the corner. Comes loose, and Russ Cortnell will just clear it down the ice with 12 seconds left now. Linden's penalty.
Good penalty killing by Vancouver, really taking charge in their own zone.
Roberts dumps it in the corner. 3 seconds, Linden will be out of the box, and Ruutu controls, and Vancouver's killed off the man disadvantage. Ruutu with a big shot goes wide. Now it's Dave Babich in the corner. Vancouver setting up shot. Linden with a shot for the point. Save Casey, and he covers the rebound with that left glove.
Long shot from the point from Linden as the Canucks keeping the puck in deep and then moving it to the point position. Cycling down low, the veteran Dave Babich down low, so Linden took care of that position. And John Casey makes a save with his right pad. Pass out to the back. Ruutu all the way to Linden. Casey sees it the whole way, then smothers up the rebound. That's the key there. But Trevor Linden, their captain, realizing that Dave Babbage had already pinched in from his right point position. When your defenseman's going to pinch in like that, you have to know as a team, one guy's got to go on back and obviously support that move.
Face-off will be in the St. Louis end. To the left of John Casey. Canucks win it. Dave Babbage trying to put it in the corner, but Keith Carmino was there to block it off. Now it bounces back in on Casey. Steve Machine back for it. Penalties will be harder to come by in the overtime. You can bet on that. Here's Aksuda. Aksuda to Ronning. Hit it, he scores! Vancouver native Cliff Ronning scores at 1:48 of sudden overtime, and the Canucks will fly home tonight, knowing that if they win on Wednesday, they can close out the series.
They've regained home ice advantage in this best-of-7 series. And Cliff Ronning put in a dandy move on John Casey after the St. Louis Blues broke down in the neutral zone, allowing Vancouver an odd man break here in the early stages of overtime. Aksuda with a good pass right on the tape, and momentum just brings you right back to the backhander. Casey gambled, coming out trying to challenge. Aksuda makes a great pass here right on the tape. Duchesne overcommits to one guy, and then Ronning's in there all alone, and an easy little tap in, and Cliff Ronning has some pretty good hands for the game winner.
The former St. Louis Blue and the Vancouver native now, Cliff Ronning, has become a hero in his hometown with the overtime goal. The final, Vancouver 6, St. Louis 5. The Canucks lead the series 3-2. Now let's go to Sports Center with Dan Patrick and Carl Ravitch. Gentlemen.
To Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto, where we are set for overtime. First sudden death in this series between the Hawks and the Leafs. This courtesy of a brilliant comeback by Chicago in the third period.
Well, I think the Leafs should have benefited from the rest as they were on their heels when the game ended. They have a chance now to get settled down. Burns has a chance to talk to him. And my guess is that Pat Burns telling his players, we cannot go out there and try and win it in the first shift. We have to try and make them make a mistake, jump on it, and put it in. I'm sure Daryl Sutter might be saying, look, if everything else goes wrong, we got a chance at home in Game 7. Let's see if we can end this baby in the first 5 minutes. Go for it.
Pat Burns' team did not win a game or lose a game in overtime this year, 0-0 and 8. The Hawks won a pair, did not lose a game in overtime. Monty and Craven were winning goal scorers. Pat Burns probably wondering how the heck did this get to sudden death. Here we go. The Leafs trying to stay alive. The Hawks trying to end it right here. Ridley, Craig, Sundin up against Nichols, Craven, and Murphy. Jamie McCowan batting it in. Ridley behind the net. Tried to get it to Craig, broken up, and Murray Craven starts back. His overtime game winner came against Vancouver, centering it in front. Sundin knocking down Murphy in front. We mentioned the Leafs 4-2 when facing elimination the last 2 years. 3 of those games went to overtime. They won 2 and were ousted last year in overtime by the Vancouver Canucks. Denny Savard at center. What a role he has played in this comeback tonight. Belfour up to Gary Suter. He pushes it ahead, and it slides to Gill. Dave Ellett to Gilmore. Now out with Andrechuk and Domi. Here's Gilmore looking for his first goal. Centered it! Andrechuk reaching for it. Gilmore behind the net. Domi's out in front. Ellett cheating down. Gilmore centers. Domi took a whack at it, broken up by Savard. Here comes Patrick Poulin. Chelios trailing. Poulin in front. And Sutter just missed it. Now the Leafs wheel away. They're going for it in overtime. Here's Gill. His shot doesn't get through. Ellett took a whack at it. And it's out to center. Is this pace surprising you, Harry?
Quite often the first 2 or 3 shifts of overtime are a lot more exciting than the next 10 or 12.
Domi kicks it free. Andrechuk after it against Chelios without the helmet. Gilmore with with room in the corner. Tries to get it back to Andrechuk. Chelios chops it to the boards. Sutter can't clear it. McCowan in deep for Toronto, and now Savard. Great move out to center. Denny Savard rolling it in and heads to the bench. Butcher up with it for the Leafs. Now Benoit Hogue, rubbed out by Diddick. And Gerald Diddick will take over. He was part of that Vancouver team that eliminated the Leafs last year. With an overtime goal by Greg Adams. Benoit Hogue. Lost control, here's Shantz. Graham puts it in front, Potvin clears. To the line, Weinrich. In behind the net for Graham. Leaves it for Shantz. Shantz looking for Amonte. Now Shantz with it again. Here's Shantz in front. Graham the shot. Blocked by Butcher. Jeff Shantz again. Tony Amonte. Out to Graham. Here's the shot. It goes high. Shantz in the corner. And now DiPietro. Past Hogue and out to center. We're approaching the 3-minute mark of overtime in Game 6. Murphy couldn't keep it in. Here's Bill Burr. And Gary Suter comes back for Chicago. Chelios still out there without the helmet. Chelios around the boards for Craven. Mironov pinching in. Keeps it in. Here's DiPietro. And Chelios working against him. Wood to help out. There's a shot that Belfour played that bad angle shot that holds on.
Chelios has to go to the other end of the rink to get his helmet. Played about 2 minutes without it. And a torrid pace here by both teams in the first 3.5 minutes of overtime. Get the puck on the net in overtime, because your buddies without the puck should be going to the net. But Suter will not let Berg get there. And perhaps it's a good idea, as you see, Eddie Belfour got the puck. Chelios and Gilmore into the end of the rink. And Chelios' helmet comes off. Boy, he's taken a pounding, Chris Chelios, this series. 2 other games have begun. Brett Hull for St. Louis. T-Top tied it up for Calgary in San Jose. Both Game 6s.
Suter along the board. Sundin trying to center it. It comes to Bernie Nichols. Out to Craven and Murphy wheeling with good speed into the Leaf zone. Joe Murphy shot right on. Rebound! Hit the goal post! Craven hit the goal post! Could this be shades of San Jose last year, when Garpenlov bounced one off the bar and the Leafs came back? Now the Hawks trying to send Craven away again. Drops it off. Chelios in, and the shot off a leg. Into the corner for Nichols. Joe Murphy, watched by Ridley. Murphy trying to power his way in front. And Randy Wood gets it down the ice. Diddick back to get it. Icing the call, and the Hawks came that close to ending the series.
Well, off the goalpost, it wasn't a hard shot, but Potvin was down. And the puck slid into the goalpost and went the right direction if you're a Leaf fan, and the wrong direction if you're a Hawk fan. Joe Murphy's been more obvious tonight, and there's the play right there as Craven gets not enough on it. And the Leafs get the first big break of overtime. And here's what it looked like from behind Potvin. Another big rebound. He's given a lot of those, and then he trips and was in no position to handle Craven's shot. Craven on the bench getting looked at by the medical staff of the Chicago Blackhawks.
Saw Denny Savard there. Try to slip by Gilmore on this faceoff. Wins the draw back to Diddick. Diddick tees it up, and that's off a stick high. Domi flipping it. Gloved by Smith, who took a high stick, and a shove from Todd Gill.
No, I don't know whether it was the puck that hit Smith in the face or Anderchuk's stick, but he was trying to catch it. And Anderchuk, I think it was Anderchuk, put his stick up to try and deflect it out of the zone. And let's have a look at it. Smith stays in at the blue line here. Here comes the flip. And you can see Anderchuk trying to tip it past Smith and get away on the 2-on-1. Krivo-Krasov, the right winger, will not let Anderchuk out. And that gives Didik a chance to tee it up. And he shot it over the net. Nice play by Sergei Krivo-Krasov. Little things on the face-offs can often end up in big things on the scoreboard.
Savard all over Ellett. And the puck behind the net for Todd Gill. Gill had an overtime game winner last year against Chicago. 2 games went to overtime. Jeremy Roenick had the other game winner in last year's series. Won by the Leafs in 6. The Hawks trying to win this one in 6. And icing the call against Toronto.
Now Pat Burns is complaining that the defenseman pinched and made no attempt to get the puck that was coming around the boards. And that's kind of the rule of thumb on icings. Pucks that come around the boards, if the opposing defenseman pinches and doesn't touch it, they usually wave the icing off. Now in a regulation time, that wouldn't be such a big deal, but in overtime, defensive zone face-offs, which is coming up for the Leafs, are always a scary proposition, especially when the Hawks have been better than the Leafs on the draw tonight.
Man through the series. Belfort trying to keep loose. One of the great subplots tonight. Belfort lifted. Jeff Hackett came in, and now it's Belfort's game to win or lose. Chelios as the Hawks win another draw. Here's Suter firing, and that didn't miss by much. And ricochets out of play.
Now the winger's job on the face-off is try and fight your way through to the point. And because the Hawk players are holding the wingers up, you can see they made a switch. And Craig went to the left point, or right point, and the other Leaf winger went to the left point, thinking that if they switched up, they might get out there quicker, even though they may end up on the wrong wings. And they did get out faster.
Sundin centering now the line between Craig and Hogue against Shantz. Tony Amonte and Dirk Graham. Leafs bounce it out through center ice. And we've played 5:15 of overtime. Jamie McCowan up to Hogue. Still looking for his first point as a Leaf in the playoffs. Tying it up along the boards. Sundin trying to work it free. Scrum continues and Hogue pries it loose. Gary Suter with 9 shots on goal in the game. Out to center ice, there's McCowan. And Mike Craig wheeling through center. Dumps it in, heads to the bench. Chris Chelios. He'll log over 35 minutes tonight. Graham just gets it out to center, and here goes Suter again. Gary Suter, shot right on. And it's Garth Butcher. Up for Ridley. Couldn't find it in his skates. Ridley now out with Berg and Wood. As Pat Burns has changed the lines for the Leafs. Here's Murphy speeding in. Fires it right on. Butcher to the boards. And the Leafs up with the puck. Ridley cross ice and Elliot's on the move. Off the boards. Didik got there ahead of Randy Wood. And now Murphy with Craven and Steve Smith. Broken up by Mironov. Wood going after it against Didik. Here's Ridley with the puck. Mike Ridley stays with it to Ellett. Here's a shot deflecting off Didik. High and out of play.
Well, Ellett was thinking that he had Randy Wood in front of the net, and he had no time to wind up, and made a good decision and then a good play by just putting a wrist shot on the net, and it deflected over the glass. Here's the play right here. You're not going to score on that shot, but if it is deflected, you might. And there was some traffic right there as Wood couldn't get his stick on it. So the face-off is to Belfour's right. And the Leafs, lots of conferences on the offensive zone face-off. Most lines have a little play they like to try every once in a while. Let's watch and see if Gilmore's does.
Andreychuk just waved Domi over to the left wing position. And from the face-off, it went to Belfour. 5-1 shots on goal in favor of Chicago in overtime as Denny Savard wheels in again. Mironov cuts him off at the pass. Along Along the boards, Poulin trying to work it free against Domi. Brent Sutter helping out. And then they chop it by Steve Smith down the ice. Didick back to get it, but off the boards to Poulin. Out to center. Savard with Brent Sutter. Two great veterans over the line. Poulin takes the drop. There's the shot. Off a skate wide, and Andreychuk will turn for Toronto. One-handing it out to center ice. Hawks clear it back in. 7.5 minutes gone. We're in overtime at Maple Leaf Gardens in Game 6 as the Leafs try to stay alive and the Hawks try to move on to the second round. Krivokrasov digging after it. No icing. Krivokrasov now trying to center it against Ellen. And it bounces to Andreychuk. Trying to pull away. He'll give off to Gilmore. Across to Sundin. Moving in, and Suter stopped up Sundin. Sundin again. Back to McCowan, the shot. That's high. Krivokrasov and the Hawks now tear out of the zone. Off the skate of Cummins and back to Krivokrasov. Craig hacking at him. Chances in deep. That's Cummins behind the net. Centering pass to McCowan as the Hawks finish a change. McCowan up to Ridley. Can't find it in his skate. Sundin can't reach it. Nichols coming back. Here's Nichols in. Murphy the shot weak and wide. Nichols in the corner. The big line for Chicago sets up. Murphy fires. Kicked out by Potvin. That's wide of Belfour and icing the call after Joe Murphy had one of the best chances in overtime.
Well, Felix Potvin is a young goaltender by NHL standards, but overtime, he's a seasoned veteran. He has played 10 overtime games, and this is only his third year of being a full-time goalie. And he makes a big save right here on Bernie Nichols on the rush, and the puck cannot get through to Murray Craven. Murphy lets one go from 27 feet out, and he makes the stop with Craven sitting on the doorstep. Bernie Nichols has been dynamite on the draw, and they're going to try and... Tommy Ivan sporting his Stanley Cup ring the last time the Chicago Blackhawks captured the elusive Stanley Cup. I'll bet he's proud of that. Wonderful man, Tommy Ivan. In 1976, Bob Pulford and I coached the American team in the first Canada Cup, and Tommy Ivan was our general manager, and it was a real privilege to work for a man like him.
Well, his Hawks have 50 shots on goal tonight. And 3 in the third period beat Felix Potvin to force this overtime. Gilmore beating Nichols on the draw. Gill in front of his own net. Ahead to the captain who spilled at center. And Craven will take over. Gerald Didick ahead. Pass Craven. Gill can't reach it. Dave Ellett up to Wood. Didick for the Hawks. Flipping it back in. Craven digging after it against Gill. And icing is the call.
Well, as the game wears on, the Leafs have been playing for the most part 5 defensemen, as Johnsson has not taken a regular shift. And you wonder whether the 5 Leaf defensemen can hold up as long as the 6 Hawk defensemen. And Butcher and Ellett have come out every other shift. Mironov has been spelled by Todd Gill and Dave Ellett. Johnsson has played very little. So Pat Burns, like many coaches, goes with the guys that have been there before when the times are the toughest. And you don't see a lot of the Hawk young players, forwards, playing much tonight either. 50 shots Felix Potvin has had to contend with. And Eddie Belfour and Jeff Hackett, 35.
Gilmore wins the draw. Here's McCowan. Takes the shot. Belfour the save. And he does get on the rebounder. at least long enough for Terry Gregson to whistle play down with a real pile-up, including Chris Chelios and Benoit Hogue.
Denny Savard had a tough time stopping Doug Gilmour from going to the net off the draw, and Gilmour nearly put it in as the shot from the point came. Savard has to remember, watch this, he can't handle him. He tries, he knows what he's supposed to do, but then he lets him go. And look where Gilmour is if that puck had been loose.
Gilmour wins the draw again. McCowan's shot that hit a stick, went to the corner. And Gary Suter has it. What a game he's had. Denny Savard hit the linesman, and the puck turned back by the Leafs. Chelios back to touch it, and icing is the call. Chris Chelios. Before that last whistle, had played 33 minutes, 21 seconds.
Well, with 10 minutes played in overtime, that's a little down for Chelios. He's usually up to that mark in the regulation. But this is also a time when coaches look up and down the bench, know their guys are getting tired, and throw a fresh guy out on a line. And the next thing you know, that fresh guy gets a chance to end the game.
Thinking back to Peter Klima, who was so fresh in that Stanley Cup marathon against Boston. I think he sat out 3 periods before scoring the game winner.
Well, it happens every once in a while, but it happens just as often, Chris, when you do that, that fresh guy costs you the overtime goal. So there's 2 edges to most swords.
Ridley and Nichols dueling. And Ellett from the faceoff. Tried to feed Wood, broken up by Nichols. So Gill will have to try. Up for Randy Wood on left wing. He sends it cross ice. Sundin speeding in. Here's Sundin. Wrap around. Wood scores! Randy Wood! We're going to game 7.
Of play here in Game 6 at Maple Leaf Garden.
Sundin and Gill get the assists. 10 minutes of overtime. Wood scored the 4th goal that looked like it might have been enough in regulation time. But after 3 hot goals, Randy Wood finally puts it away. Let's join Scott.
All right, 2 goals on the night for Randy Wood, but undoubtedly the second was the biggest at 10 minutes of overtime to keep the Leafs alive in this series. What'd you think of the game?
You know, it was a great game. We had a little bit of a letdown there in the 3rd period, but you know, all in all, the guys played well. We knew what we had to do tonight. You know, now it's to win a game. We're to start a 7th game here, so you know, it's a big effort by everybody. You know, you can't say anything more about the team. We did a great job tonight.
Your biggest goal as a Leaf?
So far.
Momentum in this series, Randy's been awfully hard to read. It's changed from game to game, and tonight changed about 4 times. Can you explain it?
You know, that's playoff hockey. You know, there's so much on the line right now at this time of the year that you know, everybody's playing for everything right now, and you know, there's going to be momentum shifts, and we just have to be there to endure the the tough times and you know, persevere. And as long as we can do that, play 60 minutes, you know, we're gonna be a good team. Tough to beat.
What do you think of your chances now heading back to the United Center for the 7th game?
Great. You know, it's anybody's game. 7th game. you know, I won 7th game in other people's buildings, and you know, the 7th game, the home ice advantage is gone. You know, it's anybody's game right now.
Randy, congratulations. Enjoyed this victory.
Thank you very much.
All right, so Chris, Randy Wood saves the series for the Leafs, and now the Leafs and Hawks will go the distance.
Headed for a Game 7 on Friday night. Let's take a last look.
Sundin with the big burst of speed, and then attracts all kinds of Hawks to stop the wraparound. The puck rolled off his stick right to Wood, and Wood will not get an overtime goal that's any nicer or any easier to put in than that one.
What a contrast of emotions tonight. Here are the Molson 3 stars. Randy Wood, 2 goals in the game winner, the obvious first star. Gary Suter, a tower strike for Chicago. A couple of assists in that third period comeback.
See you tonight.
Welcome back to the Spectrum in Philadelphia. Bob Cole with Harry Neal. Oh yes, we thought for sure we'd have a great series. And it looks like from this first game, that's just what it's going to be.
2 evenly matched teams in a brutally rough game. Lots of great goals, great goaltending. I'm glad there's overtime.
You wonder if they have any more energy left. They've been going at each other tooth and nail. Leclerc got his 3rd of the game. Desjardins looked like he had the winner until Pat Verbeek scored with Richter on the bench, and the Rangers with the extra man on. And here's overtime coming up. We're underway in overtime here in game 1. Rangers Verbeek, a light bump by Lindros. Puck is over the glass into the crowd. Harry was predicting a moment ago that this was going to end, well, you said
It's going to be a short overtime, Bob, so don't get too comfortable.
I want to tell everybody the last time Harry made a prediction like that, we went 4 overtimes in Washington.
Well, it doesn't look like the tactics are going to change very much here in overtime. The players will be a little careful with reference to a penalty. Not that they've been worried about that before, but the power plays have been significant now. Koharski's going to the Ranger bench. He's already been to the Flyer bench, and I'm sure he's telling the coach, I don't want any of this stuff after the whistle. It's been a nice, pleasant, rough game. Don't be throwing elbows and high sticks after the whistle, or I'm going to give you a penalty.
So far in the playoffs, you wouldn't think that home ice advantage would be a big deal, but I think it's different in this series. Madison Square Garden and the Spectrum. The Rangers are trying to win this game to gain home ice advantage. Well, Lindros is coming in for Philadelphia. Sweeping the puck over in front of the net. Here's the line. It's kept in. Shot back of the net. Lindros is getting ready. Can't make the play. Here's the shot. That one went through the crease and missed the far post by 3 feet. The Rangers trying to get it out. Won't get out. Long shot. Richter saved. Leclerc centered it. And Richter took it away from him. Another shot. This one is wide. Lindros again. Coming out front. The shot hit the side of the net. What a start for Philadelphia. What a start for Mike Richter in sudden death overtime in game 1. Icing against New York.
Well, some heavy forechecking caused a couple of Ranger turnovers, and Lindros ended up in front of the net all alone. And I don't know whether Richter stopped it or the puck rolled off Lindros' stick as he was starting whatever move he had in mind to try and end this game. Everyone disappeared, and there Lindros was, and the puck came. He kicked it up, and he lost it. He was going to pull it to his forehand, and it rolled off his stick. All alone. He'll never get a better chance than that. And the Rangers better not give him another chance like that.
Richter standing tall, though. He wouldn't go for any fake. The puck just eluded Lindros before he could go back with it. Toss it in. There's a shot from the blue line. Big rebound. Cleared away again. Flyers, all Flyers. Bennett knocked down. They go straight on and the Rangers skate out with it. Larmer comes up and drives along one into the glove of Hextall. And the big goalie is out to smother it. No further play. What a feverish start by Philadelphia.
I told you I thought they were going to end it in a hurry, but they couldn't get it by Richter. And finally the Rangers come down in to where the ice has not even been skated on since this OT started. And they try a long shot on Hextall, who's going to get busy here to make a play and then has a second thought and smothers it. If a goalie's in doubt at his own end, hold on to the puck. You're right a lot more often doing that than if you try some play that is a low percentage gamble.
They played a minute 29 of overtime. Nedved and McTavish prevailing and winning the draw. Puck is shot to center ice. Loose for a moment. Zubov to Nedved. Up across center. McTavish hopping on it. He shoots one in deep. Rutgers touching it. And the Rangers come back to pick it up. Kevin Lowe played it ahead to the line. Zubov is tied up at center ice. Lowe was waiting at his own blue line to stop that feed. Larmer rolls it into the Philadelphia zone. They're changing now. As the Flyers get as far as center. Nemchinov steals the puck. Leach is coming up on the right. Couldn't get the pass to him, and Leach was barreling at the net and kept going and hit the crossbar.
Well, I think Terrion made sure Leach was going nowhere but into the net as the pass from behind the net that Nemchinov wanted to make rolled off his stick. You're going to see it right here. And then just to the right of the screen, you can see that Leach, who was in the clear and had a step on Terrion, but couldn't get the puck from Nemchinov, and they all go by Hextall into the net. Hextall still doesn't take his eyes off the puck.
2 minutes, 16 seconds of overtime and a hectic hockey game at the Spectrum this afternoon in Philadelphia. Shots 26-24 now in favor of Philadelphia. They've stormed out here in overtime. Richter has been great. Flyers try to get the puck outside their own blue line. Lindemore failed. Samuel shot it in. And now DeMaio gets away. Up to Deneen. Deneen beats it in. The shot blocked by Richter. At the blue line, the Flyers are on it first. It is Lindemore centering it. At the blue line, stops with the shot blocked. Deneen trying to get it back. And Kyprios gets it out of the zone and down the ice. Kovalev giving chase. Philadelphia back to pick it up. Deneen rolled it ahead on the boards. Messier on there again. It's Brian Leach turning at the Ranger line. Across center, skating great. Leach is doing it. And tied up before he can whip it in on the net. Back down for Deneen. Rink wide pass to Mayo. And Fool Zubov. Rangers on a move again for Beaton and Messier. Messier leaves it for Verbeek. He tried to give it to Graves. Graves held up for a second, then went after it. Messier trying to knock him loose behind the Philadelphia net. Graves had it on his skate. The Flyers get it out to the line, but not clearing the zone. Kevin Haller, he lost it. Verbeek couldn't get the pass from Graves. Rangers back. Haller at his own blue line now. 4 minutes gone in overtime. Lindros's pass too far for Renberg. And that's an icing call against the Philadelphia Flyers.
Well, it certainly looks like it's the start of a game where players think a lot of goals are going to be scored because neither team's sitting back trying to be conservative in this overtime, which has gone slightly over 4 minutes. The Rangers are trying to change late, and this is the second time in overtime that Koharski has turned down the last change by the Rangers, and Terry Murray's upset about it. Neil Smith in the Ranger private box. Hart going faster than it looks. This should be a huge win for the Rangers and a necessary win for the Flyers.
Everybody now in a sweat box in this first game. Philadelphia and New York. Rangers winning the faceoff. Larmer couldn't get a shot through. Nedved poked at it again, but Lindros was there to get it out over the line. Zubov has to go back to Leach. Up on the left side, off the boards. Larmer feeds it in. Nedved around the net, trying to center it. And the Flyers move it out again. Hextall waiting for that shot from center ice. Therrien starting to play up on the wing. Leclerc with 3 goals in a hockey game. Passes in front of the net. They cover up big time. Yuskevich couldn't move on it after the blue line. Hextall giving directions for Dmitry Yuskevich. Out it goes to Semenov. That went over the glass at the far side.
Brian Leach, he's the most dangerous defenseman on either team to jump into the rush. He's got that Paul Coffey, that Bobby Orr anticipation as to when it's a good time to jump into the rush and be the fourth or the third man on it. Lindros, when he decides to go to the net, and Matteau makes a pretty good stop, or a pretty good save on Lindros. Tried to walk out from behind the net. Leach just missed his own net.
Rangers, Nemchinov going after Dykhouse. Dykhouse made the clearing pass. And the Flyers. Fennick shoots it into the Ranger zone. Kevin Lowe turning away from his check. Nemchinov rolled it up to the line. The Flyers keep it in. Deline went after him. Given a bump behind the net. Nemchinov takes over for New York. Kovalev stopped. Again up the line. Dykhouse shoots. It was a screen shot. Richter had a problem with it. It stayed out though. Nice play for Noonan. 2 Flyers are back, however. The low shot and Hextall the stick save. Here come the Flyers again. Everybody checks. Svoboda was stopped before he got to center. Rangers back. Zubov goes back to the net. The lead pass off the boards all the way down the ice. Messier won't get there in time. That's an icing call against New York.
Well, the Flyers were lucky. They changed on the go, and the pass couldn't be handled just outside the Ranger blue line on the breakout, or the Flyer defenseman coming on would have had a long race to get back into the play to negate the rush.
You'd think they'd start to show the fact that they must be weary.
Here's the shot by Dykhouse that gets through Richter, but just hits his right skate and skips wide of the net.
Here's the face-off to the right of Richter. Lindros trying to shake loose, and he can't do it. Up through the middle. That's Graves. In for New York. Graves was stopped in the nick of time by Yuskevich. Then hauled down by Yuskevich. Yuskevich and Graves chased him behind the net and knocked Yuskevich to the ice. Leclerc left it there for Lindros. Looking pass in there for Denver. Back in front. Lindros looking over his shoulder. Goes in back of the net for Redberg. In the corner, the Rangers back, and Leach, the steady one, finds the opening to get it out. Richter stopping it for Bukovo. Here we have a giveaway. Here's the giveaway. And the shot blocked. Lindros after it. Center net. Shot. Lindros. Down is Richter. The puck stays out. Well, DeMaio was in front of the net and thought it was over. A wicked shot, missed the goal.
Well, the puck got underneath Richter. He didn't know where it was, and he didn't have it frozen for a second, but he got a break. It did not roll in. And the Flyers have dominated the quality chances here in overtime, and we've nearly played 7 minutes, and here was nearly the end right there as it just grazed the post. And then Richter, who's in no position to come around, somehow gets there and stops Lindros. But the puck is not held. Look at it. And it's slid in and hit the post and stayed out. Richter had no idea where it was.
Well, just about hit the 7-minute mark of overtime. And the Flyers must have had at least 7 chances to end it. But we're still going. McTavish and Toski is to his right. And Toski couldn't reach it. Here it comes. A shot there! Desjardins wins the game for Philadelphia.
From the top of the circle right here, and he picked the upper corner and beat Richter, who saw the whole shot, was out to cut the angle down, but couldn't stop it. And the Philadelphia bench is up as the goal goes in, and over they come to get the guy that put it away, and the Flyers win the first one of this series, which looks like it's going to be a beauty.
30-26 for the final shot in favor of Philadelphia. And Philadelphia Flyers, deserving winners, really, getting a lead, seeing it tied, going after them in overtime, and Desjardins ends it at 7:03.
Good center and a very quiet crowd. Dick, you talked about that game this afternoon, the chances. You knew that somebody was going to score fairly quickly. This one might go on forever.
From the face-off, Linden tried to kick it free, but Bernie Nichols takes control. On the right wing for Murphy. The drop pass for Nichols, but he's well tied up
by Bure. At center now, Jeff Courtnall tripped up by Chelios. A penalty coming up. Otherwise, Courtnall may have had a break. And so Dan Maruelli
will take some heat from the Hawks, but makes the call in
overtime. And Vancouver gets a power play.
Chelios is talking to Jerry Gauthier because he tried to shoot it in, and it hit Gauthier in the back, and then he was in trouble. Courtnall went by him, and Chelios took his feet out. Chelios tried to shoot it in and hit Gauthier, and Courtnall's by him. Dan Maruelli's right there. That's a good scoring chance. It would have been a 2-on-1, and that's a good call by Dan Maruelli.
Canucks 0 for 3 with the man advantage and have yet to register a shot on the power play tonight.
And the Blackhawks lose the defenseman,
generally considered to be their best
at a critical time. He's in the penalty box while his teammates try to kill the penalty.
That's been a big story for Chris Chelios in these playoffs and this season. He has really cut his penalty minutes down. Took just 2 minors in the series against Toronto. And so the Canucks power play goes to work. Weinrich and Steve Smith, the defensive pairing with Brent Sutter and Dirk Graham, trying to kill this penalty as the puck deflects into the Vancouver bench.
And the Hawks are complaining about where this
face-off's going to be. They wanted it outside.
Jerry Gauthier said that it was coincidental contact. The face-off comes about 10 feet inside the blue line. Daryl Sutter shakes his head.
Linden on the face-off. Bure, Jeff Courtnall, Jyrke Lumme, and the rookie Adrian Aucoin. 21 years of age here in overtime. He is poised at the point. And he keeps it in the zone. Hawks along the board, battle for it. Weinrich a few jabs at it and finally gets it down the ice.
And 30 seconds has elapsed in the Chelios minor. Brent Sutter got a stick on the
lead pass and it deflects out of play.
Vancouver Canucks in their
overtime record since April 24th, 1994. Those 3 games against Calgary last year, what an incredible
run that was, at 3 overtime games, and the winning overtime goal from Pavel Bure on an assist from the guy they need on this power play, Jeff Brown, who is not out there. Adrian Aucoin has played pretty well, but he's no
Jeff Brown. The only loss in those 8 games was Game 1 of the Western Final last year against Toronto. Weinrich back in his own zone behind the net. Can't clear it. There's a coin out in front, and that went off Jeff Courtnall and went wide. Dirk Graham gets it down the ice. 66 seconds remaining in the Chelios minor penalty. Babbage lost control at center, and Nichols will send them back. Up at center, and that hopped over the stick of Linden, who put his head down in disappointment because icing's the call against the Canucks.
Looking at that overtime record of Vancouver, the one I remember best of all
was the first game of the finals last year.
in New York, thanks to Kurt McLean. 14 stops in an 8-minute period during the first overtime session against the Rangers. And when you look at the overall picture of that series, it ended up going 7 games. That was one of the main reasons it did. The Rangers dominated the game, but they couldn't dominate McLean, and the Canucks, as Greg Millen mentioned, the road team sneaking one in one of the first 2. That's what they did that night at MSG.
Had over 50 shots.
Yeah,
14 quick in the overtime, but over 50 in the regulation.
47 seconds left in the Chelios penalty. And the Canucks break out to center with Ronning. Dumping it in, Ronning, Momesso, and Russ Courtnall up front now. Lume and Henniken on the points as Suter crashes into Courtnall. Trying to control it along the boards. Nichols reached for it, and it did come outside the line. And they get the face-off after the offside call.
Little help from Murray Craven to make the call. Craven's right there. Lume bings in, and there's Murray Craven. He's being the linesman. Okay, that was out. Make the call. Murray Craven, after his long absence and finally
playing in Chicago, and then when he did come to Chicago, he had
back problems and couldn't really get himself in shape, and just started to play well in about the last 2 weeks of the season.
Darryl Sutter said the turnaround point for his season came with the overtime goal against Vancouver, and now another whistle, and with the high stick, the faceoff's going to come all the way down into the Vancouver zone, and just 19 seconds remaining on another struggling Vancouver power play.
Chicago opting for the 2-2-1-1-1 game routine home and away. Murray Craven talking about last year when the Canucks had those 3 straight games in each of the series against Dallas and Toronto, I guess, and neither Dallas nor Toronto ever saw home ice again.
Snuck one on the road and then came home for 3, and the fans so involved. It was such a big advantage for the Vancouver Canucks playing at home last year.
And that's why Bob Fulford overruled Darryl Sutter on the option of 2-3-2 in this series. Lume ahead to Russ Courtnall. Dying seconds of the power play. Graham lost his stick. Here's Ronning with it. Trying to take advantage of Graham, now getting back in the play. Henniken moving up. There's the shot off the target. Chelios is back on the ice. They killed another power play, but Courtnall had a chance there and whistled the shot wide. Chris Chelios with control and gets it out to center. So the Hawks weather an overtime power play. Chelios taken down, and now Chicago gets a man advantage. Russ Courtnall is headed off.
Of course, the fans, the Chelios situation very much in their minds on the last call, and then
that's an identical play, you might say,
on that far side in front of the player benches. So now the Hawks kill one and get a chance at a power play themselves.
You can bet, had there not been a call on Chris Chelios'
tripping, that one would have been let go, Dick. It was a
spinorama by Russ Courtnall, and he cut out Chelios' skates, and now the Hawks have a power play.
Well, either the penalty killing's been great tonight, or the power play's dreadful. Darryl Sutter would like to see his regular season power play right about now, the one that scored 4 of 10 against Vancouver at home, 8 of 21 during the 4-game season series, and ranked number 1 in the NHL. Nichols is up front with Murphy and Denny Savard. Chelios and Suter are on the points. Merzen trying to clear it around. It won't get there, but it's Christian Ruutu clearing it down the ice. Chris Chelios at center, rink wide. There's Murphy around the boards. 8 minutes gone in overtime. Savard to Murphy. 3 Hawks behind the red line. Now Bernie Nichols back to Savard. Murphy goes to the front of the net, and it hopped over Suter's stick. Here's Bure stealing from Suter and getting tripped up. And Bure looks over at Maruelli. No call. Chelios over the line. Chris Chelios working in, and McLean the save. Chelios right on the rebound. Double team there. Bure's in the corner, so is Lume. Hawks work it free. Bernie Nichols back in for Chelios. Jeff Courtnall watching Chelios. Denny Savard takes the pass low. Now Nichols moves in the corner. Chelios up high. Back it comes to Denny Savard. 35 seconds left in the man advantage. Gary Suter, but the Canucks keeping the Hawks outside right now. Nichols centers. Murphy scores! Joe Murphy has his 5th goal in 5 games. It's an overtime winner for Chicago.
And the streak continues for Joe Murphy. Good puck movement. And they finally work it down low. Murphy jumps by Jeff Courtnall, and he's wide open for the feed from Bernie Nichols. Jeff Courtnall lets Murphy go. He hacks at him, but then lets him go. Lume goes, and the pass is right on the tape. No chance for Kirk McLean.
The one-timer by Joe Murphy.
His 6th goal of the playoffs is a power play marker. Bernie Nichols and Denny Savard get the assists. And here's how the Chicago bench celebrated.
You know, they went into this series number 16 in a
Field of 16 in power play efficiency, but that will be forgotten, as you can tell, as our cameras catch the celebrating on the Blackhawk bench.
Hawks strike first. Game 1 of the Western Semis. The home team wins it 2-1.
Rangers are tied at 3 goals apiece. And overtime is coming up. Our 2nd overtime game in this series.
Here's last night's overtime. Desjardins from the top of the circle ends a bitterly fought contest. And here's the Flyer bench.
One of the 2 benches is going to erupt sometime here tonight. Don't know who, but we're going to show you who in a minute.
What a game for Brian Leetch tonight. 2 power play goals in the first period to make it 2-0 Rangers. Lindros caught fire in the second at 6:15, and then Yuskevich tied it up at 16:36. Renberg early in the 3rd period at 25 seconds. Beautiful pass to him, and he scored. And Leetch is 3rd of the game.
You can see Dykhouse tails into the middle, and then he can't get back. Puts his stick out. Looks like he might have touched it, Bob. You were probably right on that, because it seemed to handcuff Hextall. Hextall seemed to be moving a little to his left. The puck may have changed the direction slightly. Means nothing now, because the next goal will end this beautiful game.
Rangers dump it in quickly. Remember, in yesterday's game, the Flyers came out flying to start the overtime. Rangers trying to do that right now. But Philadelphia on the puck quickly. Renberg racing over center. He's coming in. A pass back. Haller scores! Haller wins it for Philadelphia!
guess they would celebrate, Harry. 25 seconds into sudden death overtime. And it's sudden death for the Rangers in this second overtime game.
A 2-on-1 rush. Haller gets a beautiful pass from Renberg and puts it up. The only defenseman back, Leach. He can't touch the pass across, and right up off the net cam. Here's the pass right here. A beautiful pass on the 2-on-1. Haller. It's a good thing he's coming down the wrong wing because he can get that puck and get it away in a hurry from a real good angle and puts it up over the glove of Richter, and the Flyers will go to New York up 2 games, won them both in overtime.
How about that? Haller busting down the right side, took the pass from Renberg, and at 25 seconds wins the game for Philadelphia.